Hey everybody, it's Brad with the Big Family Homestead, and in today's video we are talking about canning, but we're equally not talking about canning. So if you are into canning, you may find this interesting, but if you're not into canning, you'll probably equally find this as interesting as, well, if I can communicate it properly. Yeah, so I think that has been sufficiently cryptic enough. So without any further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so if you are scratching your head right now saying, what in the world is this video going to be about? I will tell you, and we will start right now. Here's the thing. Canning jars, preserving food. The technology has been around for a very long time on how you can actually heat up food, put it in these jars. They can seal and it will sit on the shelf for a very, very long time, and you can open it up at different times whenever you need it, and the food will be good. There are certain things that you've got to learn how to do, certain acidity levels and certain amounts of time for different kinds of food, but generally it's a great way to store and preserve different things that you've grown or have or whatever for a later time. Now, there has been a controversy in the canning world over the canning jars. Now, this company, who will not be named, because we'd like to really be able to keep this video online, they have made a big change. And a lot of the canning jar companies have made a big change. Now, hold with me if you're not into canning, because this is important for you to understand my overall point. It used to be that they made these lids, the lids, much higher quality, and now they've reduced the quality level, and what used to be fine sitting on the shelf for even years, now not so much. And here's the scoop, by the way. If you want to know the canning side of things more in depth, our half-acre homestead channel, Wolfie Bev over there, she knows what's what about it, and if you really want to get into the how and why, you can get that there. I'm not going to get in that depth with it today because it's actually not my point, and I want to get to another point that I'm going to ask for your feedback on in just a little bit. But canning jars, check this out. New and improved. That sounds pretty good. New and improved. Sure tight lids. Boy, that sounds reassuring, doesn't it? That sounds like, man, I want that technology. Helps keep canned food sealed. Now, up to 18 months. Well, thank you very much. Here's the scoop. Canning jars back in the day used to be able to keep their seal guaranteed for years. Now, man, these are good for up to 18 months. Can you believe that? What is this new technology? This is amazing. I gotta have this. Not really so much. The long story short of it is the way that the lids have been changed was a profit thing. It was all about saving money. The actual material that touches the glass and the metal has been changed. And these things, even though they say that they're made in the United States, the glass is, but guess what? The other stuff, not so much. Now, this brings me to the point, well, one of many points for this video that even if you're not into canning, I hope you'll get it, and I hope you'll jump in with the comments section down below. So, bottom line is we used to have good canning jars and lids that you could depend on, that you knew that if you did your work properly, if you pressure canned it or you water bathed it how it was supposed to be done, your food would be good for years on the shelf in many cases. But now we're being told that 18 months, wow, that's miraculous. Not so much. It's a money thing, right? They've made them cheaper, they've made them elsewhere, and now this is supposed to be impressive. Here's the first question I have of this video. Is this a good thing that we're going down this road of cheaper is better? I don't think so. Here's the scoop. If you invested into good canning lids, or let's get away from the canning topic altogether. If you invested in a good product, any product, generally speaking, you're going to pay a little bit more, but it's going to way last a lot longer than a junky, crappy product that you're just going to have to rebuy. And I'll tell you, from a music background, this is a true story. Oh, Nana's coming over here. I don't know if you can see her, but she's down there. Nana the pooch. Don't attack the camera. This is a true story coming from a music background. When we were first starting out as a band, we had this vicious cycle going, a circle. And what happened was, we only made enough money to barely pay our bills, and we only had enough money to have a horribly crappy van that we would basically, we got in this circle of, we'd drive around in this van, and because it was crappy, it would blow up and it would break down. Fill in the blank as to what the ailment would be. So we would have a van for like 4 months, and it would break down, and it would be something so expensive that we couldn't get it repaired. So what did we do? We bought another crappy van, and then it would break down, and then we bought another crappy van. Now, eventually, we got out of that cycle, but the point here is that if you buy something that's junk, generally you're going to have to buy it again. Let me think about that. So if I buy a crappy guitar, it's probably not going to last me a lifetime. Yahtzee. So, point number one, is cheaper better? Now, here's a sticky wicket, guys, because I'll be the first one to say that, unfortunately, we do a lot of shopping at Walmart. And the reason we do is one reason, and it's probably the reason why many of you watching do also, and that's because it's cheap. It's just that simple. We don't make a ton of money, and the money we do make, we have to be very conscious of where that money goes. And unfortunately, we've got to use Walmart because they're the game in town that is the cheapest. They have every basic thing you need in one spot, and they're the cheapest. Well, now, is that good for the economy? I'm not an economist, but I can tell you this. I've seen plenty of places where a Walmart will roll into town, and they put all the mom and pop stores out of business, and then when they don't have enough business, they roll out of town and they leave a ghost town. Is cheaper better? I don't know. What do you think? When it comes to these canning lids, you know, now I'm being told that the miracle of 18 months of storage is supposed to be something good when it's not. This is called spin. They're just spinning this product to make it sound like, wow, man, oh man, alive. And what have I been using all these years? Is cheaper better? I don't know. I guess it depends on a lot of things for you. But if you know in your brain, if you know, if I buy crap, I'm going to have to buy it again, well then how much did that item really cost you? If you bought something that was good, would you have to buy it again? Maybe, maybe not, but chances are a better quality product is going to yield a better outcome. Now, that brings me to the question, the big question. Is there a way for us to actually reverse this trend of cheaper is better, I'll buy crap, it's a throwaway society? I mean, how many of you guys out there have you bought a TV and then it, you know, after, 2 years or whatever, it flickers out and it's just gone? I can tell you from experience, I had one of those big massive TVs and we had it for years, and then it just one day we were sitting there and we heard snap, 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 really loud, sounded like firecrackers. And I was like, oh man, the TV's dead, and it was busted. And I came this close to actually making a YouTube video of me shooting it up with we're not allowed to say that word, so, but I was gonna make a big video about it and how blah, blah, blah. But we live in a throwaway society, and even I was tempted to just say, forget it, let's go and buy a new TV. But after I did a little research, I found out that those TVs, there's not many components to them at all. And I almost destroyed a really nice big TV, and my repair, when I found the part that I needed, there's really only like 3 parts in the back there. You know, you've got a control panel, a power panel, a receiver, and then the screen. And so when I actually pulled it all apart and I got the part I needed, it was like 40 bucks to repair it. And I nearly destroyed it because we live in a throwaway society. It's just you're brainwashed to think, hey, I'll just get a new one. And so the slippery slope, that's what I'm talking about. Is cheaper better? Well, I just saved a ton of money by trying to fix my TV rather than actually just throwing it away and getting something new. But that's what we're being told. You know, all we have the option of is cheap anymore. I don't know if any of you guys out there who fondly remember the now defunct chain of stores called Radio Shack. There isn't one around here, and there wasn't one in Ohio where we lived, and they've been down for what, 2 years now? Something like that. And it kind of seems like society doesn't want you to be able to fix your own stuff. Society doesn't want you to have food stored up longer than 18 months. Society just wants you to throw it away and get something new. And I got to tell you what, I'm not buying it. For me personally, what we are going to start trying to do, I mean, of course, we reuse whatever we have on hand. We always do that. We always try to keep that as a standard, that you don't just throw something away, that we can figure out how to repurpose it, or if it's truly busted, then you figure out a way to use the parts on it or whatever. But my opinion has now shifted because of this line of thinking, in that, you know what? Let's just save up and buy the better widget, gadget, or gadget. Let's, instead of having to have it right now, having to demand, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. Let's just take a deep breath, wait a little bit, save up, and get the better widget, gadget, or gadget. And I think that if enough of us do that, if we get that mentality that, first of all, we're not going to throw it away, second of all, we're going to get the better thing, even though it costs a little bit more, but ultimately, we can kind of push that trend to get away from cheap is better to quality is better. Quality is better. And that's my thought of the day. And so like I said, it really didn't have exactly everything to do with canning jars, but more the idea of shifting away from cheap is better to quality is better. So what do you think? You think I'm on the right track? You know, put that down in the comments below. Let's hear your thoughts. Duke it out in the forum of ideas, but just be nice about it. No cursing, no nasty wastiness, and the yada yadas and the yippee skippies. So there it is, folks. I'm Brad with the Big Family Homestead. You have an amazing day.